What's up everyone? I'm Connor from No Passport Needed, where I'm making a dish from every single country in the world. Today, we're going to Vietnam and making banh mi 2 ways. So banh mi literally translates to bread in Vietnamese, but there's a lot more to a banh mi sandwich than that. France colonized Vietnam in the late 1800s through the 1950s, and in that time introduced Vietnam to baguettes and pâté. Since then, it's evolved to have many different versions. Today, we're going to go over 2 different versions, with the main difference between them being the meat component. The main components to a banh mi sandwich are the baguette, pâté, meat, usually chicken or pork, and pickled carrot and daikon. The 2 versions that we'll be making today differ in their meat component. The first is going to be a Vietnamese pork cold cut called cha lua, and the other is going to be a grilled lemongrass pork. All right, let's get to it.
So we're going to start off preparing our pickled carrots and daikon. Peel 2 carrots and 1 medium-sized daikon about 2 inches wide. Then we're going to cut them up into matchstick size pieces, roughly 2 inches long. After you've cut up the carrots, set them in a bowl. Do the same with the daikon after you've cut it up. You'll notice that when you try to bend the daikon after cutting them up, they'll break into 2 pieces. After cutting up the daikon, add them to the carrots. Add 1 teaspoon of salt and 2 teaspoons of sugar. Massage the carrot and daikon mixture for about 3 minutes. After massaging, you'll notice that there's some liquid at the bottom that's come out of the carrot and daikon. You should know when they're done when you try to bend a daikon and you're able to touch both ends without the daikon breaking. Drain the mixture in a colander and run cool water over them. Place the carrot and daikon mixture in a jar, and then let's make our brine. To make the brine, add half a cup of sugar, 1 1/4 cups of white vinegar, and 1 cup of lukewarm water to a bowl. After mixing, pour over the carrot and daikon mixture. When done, cover and refrigerate. For the grilled pork marinade, we'll need soy sauce, fish sauce, shallot, garlic, lemongrass, and brown sugar. Start by mincing 3 to 4 cloves of garlic along with the shallot. Notice that the recipe only calls for 1 tablespoon of shallot. Save the rest for another day. With lemongrass, the core is really what we're looking for, so cut the ends off and split it down the middle. Peel off the outer layers, and we're ready to get going. Add all your vegetables to a bowl, along with a couple tablespoons of light brown sugar, a few cranks of black pepper, 1 1/2 teaspoons soy sauce, 1 1/2 tablespoons of fish sauce, and 1 tablespoon of oil. Cut your pork into 4-inch pieces and mix them in the marinade. Cover and let that sit for at least an hour to marinate. Fire up your grill and let it preheat for at least 10 minutes at a medium-high heat. Once it's hot, we're going to put our pork on and let it do its thing. Flip the pork every few minutes until it's at least 145 Fahrenheit. Cover the pork with tinfoil and let it rest for at least 10 minutes. Pro tip, if you have a cutting board that slides around, throw a damp paper towel underneath it and it'll stick. Let's talk meats. For the cold cut banh mi, we're going to use 2 different kinds of pork cold cuts. First we have cha lua, which is kind of a pork meatloaf with a fish sauce backbone. Next we have nem chua, which is a fermented pork sausage, definitely a little bit stronger in the porky flavor. We'll slice each of those up and set them to the side. Lastly, slice up the grilled pork. And now for the toppings. Pull a few handfuls of cilantro off the stems. Then we're going to cut up 1 English cucumber into thin strips. Finally, slice a couple jalapenos at an angle, and we're good. For sauces, we'll use mayonnaise and Maggi sauce. Maggi is a salty seasoning originally from Germany that's not dissimilar from soy sauce. I'm using French baguettes. I wasn't able to get my hands on a Vietnamese baguette, but they're supposed to be not quite as dense on the inside and have a nice light crunch on the outside of the baguette. And a chicken or pork pate. And here's everything you need to make 2 different kinds of banh mi. To assemble, we'll first cut the baguette, leaving a hinge on the backside. Spread a generous amount of pate on both the bottom and the top. Next, add some mayo and a couple splashes of our Maggi seasoning. Add our pork cold cuts, the cha lua and nem chua, a layer of cucumber, and a few slices of jalapeno. Do not hold back on the pickled carrot and daikon. And a few sprigs of cilantro. Look at that bad boy. Next, we'll repeat the process with our grilled pork. Look at that. Alright, let's start off with the traditional cold cuts. And I gotta say, this was delicious. The acidity of the pickled vegetables really balances out well with the fattiness of the pate. And I get just the right amount of heat from those jalapenos. But how does that grilled pork measure up to the cold cuts? And it was pretty tight. This pork was delicious. The fish sauce adds just the right amount of depth to the pork, and the lemongrass still comes through in this busy sandwich. But I gotta say, the star of this sandwich is not either of the pork products. I think it's the play between the pate and the pickled carrot and daikon. They just work so well together in a way that I haven't had in a sandwich before. These really surprised me, and I didn't expect to love them as much as I did. They're really quite complex. They're very fresh and flavorful with all of the vegetables, but still have a nice large oomph from the pate. Honestly, I think the baguettes are the only thing I'd change about this. I'd go for either the grilled pork or the cold cuts again, but the baguettes could be improved. This is one of the most interesting sandwiches I've had, and I can't wait to make them again.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. I had a lot of fun with the banh mi, and I can't wait to go into Vietnamese food more in the future. If you'd like to follow along and see what country we do next, feel free to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.